Hey, Andy here, and today we're talking about a phrase that's been in vehicular vernacular as long as cars have been driving on roads, and maybe even before. But what exactly is a tune-up, and when do you need one? How do you know you need one? What can you do yourself, and what's best to take to a mechanic? Well, I'm going to break it all down for you. Generally speaking, a tune-up is performing routine preventative maintenance that keeps your vehicle healthy and running smoothly. Over time, however, the exact definition has changed a bit. You see, back before you were likely born, cars had parts that needed to be frequently checked and maintained in order to keep the engine running. This was a time when carburetors needed their jets cleaned and adjusted. A points ignition system needed the distributor cap and rotor replaced, and spark plug electrodes wore down in months, not years. Fuel had more contaminants back then too. At that time, a tune-up could range from changing the oil to a complete engine rebuild to replace worn-out seals. With the advancement of automotive technology, some of these parts don't even exist or aren't accessible anymore. Or they last far longer. What does the term tune-up mean to today's drivers? What it involves depends on the mileage and age of your vehicle as well as wear and tear. The most common understanding for a tune-up is still replacing spark plugs. Think of it like a dental checkup. You sit in the hygienist's chair twice a year and get a cleaning and check for cavities, right? Maybe once a year you'll get x-rays. The dentist will decide whether any emerging cavities need immediate attention or can be pushed to the next visit, preventing small problems from becoming bigger, more complex issues. The same goes for a tune-up on a car. The maintenance schedule dictates things that will definitely need to be done routinely, such as changing the oil and filter, replacing the engine air filter, exchanging fluids, and even maybe replacing a timing belt. But the checkup might detect issues such as worn brakes or tires, a leak, loose or broken steering or suspension, or an illuminated check engine light, and they'll need to be addressed. What is included in a car tune-up depends on the vehicle and who's doing the work. If you're maintaining your car at the dealership where it was purchased, the service department will probably recommend maintenance based on the manufacturer's schedule while checking the previous services they already performed. They have the specialized equipment and parts on hand. Dealers tend to perform maintenance items such as these. Get ready to pause the video. Meanwhile, if you take your car to an independent shop or quick lube lane, the tune-up advice likely follows their own recommendations, which are loosely based on the owner's manual, without the benefit of knowing what's already been done. They also may not have the equipment to do certain repairs, nor do they stock the parts necessary for every vehicle. They commonly suggest things like these. Most maintenance repairs are relatively quick. For example, an oil and filter change takes about 30 minutes, while air filter replacements takes 10 and tire rotation about 15. Transmission service can run a half hour to an hour. Spark plug replacement can be anywhere from a half hour to 2 hours depending on how many you've got. Meanwhile, a timing belt replacement will give you time to work out at the gym and grab a long lunch. It can take anywhere from 2 to 5 hours. Also keep in mind that your service visit takes more time than just the work performed. Time is also needed for dispatching a technician, plus coffee or lunch breaks, invoicing, and the many other tasks service personnel deal with on a daily basis. That's why you may need a 40-minute time slot for a 15-minute tire rotation. What you end up paying actually depends on what is included in a tune-up. So many factors go into the cost, including the types of services you need, your vehicle's make and model, its engine size, and if there are any additional recommendations once your car is being worked on. European and exotic vehicles are notoriously more expensive to maintain too. For reference, Bumper.com compiled a range of prices on common services from dealerships and repair providers in the US, including parts and labor. Before we move on, can I ask you a favor? If you've made it this far, can you give us a little love by clicking that little like button below and subscribing to our channel? It'll help more people see our video. Thanks! It would be great if there was a cut and dry answer for how often you should get a tune-up, but there's just not. A group of engineers design the car you drive, and they establish guidelines for how to take care of it. These generally can be found in either your owner's manual or the maintenance guide that came with your car. If you lost them or didn't get the books when you bought a used car, most manufacturers have the information available on their website under the owner's section. By and large, tune-up items are scheduled based on time and mileage. For example, Transmission service might be required every 100,000 miles or 5 years, whichever comes first. The exception for many cars today is the oil change. Most cars now have an oil life monitor that tracks how your car is used and recommends an oil change when it assumes the oil is getting dirty. If you don't have an oil life monitor, get your oil changed at least once per year. If you're a car owner who enjoys taking care of your own maintenance and maybe saving a little money, there are plenty of things you can tackle with basic skills, tools, and YouTube tutorials. What is included in a tune-up that you can do yourself? You can likely change oil, rotate tires, change air filters and wiper blades, flush coolant, and even change spark plugs. Some tasks may look possible to do at home, and I suppose technically they are, but oftentimes they are best left to professionals. For instance, a transmission service can be done, but it's much easier to do on a shop's hoist, and you might need a code reader to clear check engine light afterward. Meanwhile, a timing belt usually requires special tools only dealers have, plus it's a job that can destroy an engine if done correctly. When you take your car to a mechanic for a tune-up, they're also on the lookout for additional concerns you might miss. They're much more likely to notice issues like worn suspension or brakes, signs of an alignment issue, little leaks that could become big problems, worn out timing belt tensioners that could take your new timing belt out immediately, or even faulty O2 sensors causing the check engine light to go on. Even if you decide to do your own tune-up, it's a great idea to occasionally take your car to a mechanic for service, so they can look it over with a professional eye. Have you ever done your own tune-up? What do you feel comfortable doing at home? Tell us in the comments below, and don't forget to like our video and subscribe for more guides and how-tos. Thanks for watching.